Welcome to Studio Visitor, the podcast about music studios in Europe, talking care, philosophy, and history. For this episode, I traveled all the way to Oulu in Finland, meeting Mika with the only SSL 9000 control existing in Finland. Mika has a great story to tell about his workflow and his philosophy, and it was a great trip. If you like my videos, don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like. For now, this is yet another day, another story to tell. Let's go. To the channel, hope you're having a great day. We're in Oulu in Finland, in Soundmix recording in Oulu. And we're sitting behind a gorgeous SSL 9000 console. Next to me is Mika Pajola. Welcome to the show, Mika.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure that you came here.
A long trip, but it's more than worth it. Sitting behind the console, this studio is existing for quite some time. Can you tell us a little bit how it started?
Studio has been started, it has been formed by Timo Tarvainen, who is still owning it. We have been starting since 1982. So we have been quite a long time in business. Yeah. And I have been here since 1999.
How did you get started here? As an engineer, as a tape boy, or?
No, I came straight to the studio manager.
As a studio manager?
Yeah, straight. I had an experience before, so I was asked straight to that same position where I am right now.
Okay. But before that was another studio?
I actually started as a musician, like probably quite many recording engineers and producers. So that led me to the making at first demo tapes, of course, with the 4-track to my own bands. And those demo tapes led me to record first albums with my band, Mayan. And that led me to the situation where people started to ask that you need to record or produce or mix some of their stuff. And that's how it developed. And I also get hired to the local rock club here to doing the sound duties.
But on the live
sound, yes, yeah. That was very long time ago. And I was there quite a long time, and that used to be one of the biggest rock clubs in Finland.
And then front of house engineer or the stage
front
manager?
Front of house. And actually also the stage sound also as a monitor engineer. I did the both, and I also did the maintenance of the stuff there and all kind of things related, production and all kind of things related to that live thing. Until one day I had a chance to came here, and that was 99, and since that I have been here.
If you compare the time from then till now, 99 to 2024, that's about 25 years. How much has changed for you as an engineer?
Not so much. Not so much, because I have been using the quite traditional techniques and quite traditional equipment all my time. It has been so not so much, but of course there has been changing. Back then in 99 we were living in the hottest digital Pro Tools boom, so everybody wants to do everything with the Pro Tools.
Yeah,
I have been always against it. I have been also always loving the consoles and using consoles. So that was not fitting to me, not so much. No. But I did that back then. But I think the main change has been that since we bought this SSL, that I could go back to do everything with the console. That was the main change. So I go back in time.
Yeah, you told me you're using Pro Tools just strictly as a kind of tape recorder.
Nowadays I use it only as a tape recorder. I don't, of course, sometimes you have to edit something, but that is rare to me. I prefer that if I'm a producer, I put the people's play that well that I don't need to do any edits. And I don't use any kind of plugins. I do everything with console and all of these outboard instruments.
Do you prefer one-take recordings or just cut sometimes some takes to get the perfect take?
I prefer the perfect take, of course, and methods, it depends on the client. We try to do what is best for the client always and what is fitting best to their
So if you
needs.
say you're not using plugins, I'm thinking about you're not using autotune either.
Actually, that one I have to say that I have to use it nowadays, and quite a lot.
Quite
Sorry.
a lot.
But that is not it's not a plugin because it's not running autotune. It's like more like editing.
Yeah.
But that is, I have to admit that sometimes I have to use it because that is customers so much prefer it.
But still, it's more about the performance than about the editing.
Yes, it's always more about the performance. If I am producing, of course, if you're recording as working, it depends your role of the session.
Yeah.
If you're working as just an engineer, then you record what the customers want, and that's it.
Yeah, customer pays the bill, so...
Yeah, those they are the kings. But if you are the producer, then I prefer my own techniques, and then we try to get the best possible take.
Yeah. This desk, you mentioned it already. You're working strictly inside the box, but the box is like an SSL console. I know for sure this one was originally sold to the Netherlands. It moved back to Belgium, and then it got here.
Yeah,
How did that happen?
The story of that console is that when this has been new, it's end of the year 2000. It has been sold to Netherlands at first. It goes to private studios there at the city called Hilversum. And then at the 2010, they bought this one to the Belgium. And in 2017, we got a chance to get that here.
How big was that operation from Belgium to Finland? Because it's quite some distance.
It was a huge operation. I did that planning and organizing and everything related to that, I think, 3 months.
3 months.
3 months. I was completely occupied for that, to get that console here.
Wow.
So it was a big operation. That installation, I think it was about a week when it came. But to organize everything, dismantling it there from Belgium and get the transportation and everything, it was a huge job. Huge job and huge challenge. I have to say that.
Speaking about the challenge, what was the biggest deal of the challenge to you?
The biggest deal of that moving, that console. Yeah. I don't know. The biggest challenge was, of course, the buying the console.
And getting things funded.
Yeah. But after that, I think that I can't say that what was the biggest. Because there was I had to plan everything, that I was here and console was in Belgium. And we made a deal, actually, that it's in use there a certain amount of time. I think it was about the 3 months. It was there still in use until we had able to dismantle it and get it here. So I made one plan and let's do that and let's move it to that way. It's not working. It's too expensive or something else was an issue. So I have to go back to drawing board. What the fuck I do? Find another solution until the pieces lock it together and now it's here.
How did they transport it? Did it go by plane or by truck?
By truck.
Oh, wow.
Directly from the door of the studio there in Belgium directly to our door.
Really?
Yeah, that was the only smart choice to do it.
Okay.
And like you see, this is huge, so...
Yeah, it's huge. How many channels?
48.
48, but inline, so
inline,
actually
so,
is 96.
Yeah, 96, yes.
96. And the beauty of this console is it's very flexible with routing.
It's extremely flexible. I have to say that I'm very happy about it. There is no thing you can't do because you never run out of the possibilities with this console.
No.
Never.
We always run of aux buses for some reason, but this thing cannot run out of aux buses?
No, you can't run out of those because you can use those routing buses. You have those 10 auxes, or is it even 10? I think it is. 1 stereo and 8 mono auxes. You have those. The channels, plus if you run out of those, you can use those 48 track buses as auxes. So you never run out. You have, I think, completely 58 auxes, if I calculate right.
Besides the flexibility of this console, what do you like the most?
I like how it sounds. And it sounds, it's a very detailed and clean console. And it's also very punchy.
Punchy in the low end.
Punchy in the low end. And one thing I have to say when we're talking about the console, that one of the most important things to have console nowadays, or actually never, is the automation. That is the key. Without the automation, you pretty much can't do nothing. So that is a must-have thing.
Yeah.
And I really like that console. So we have that SSL's original automation. I love it, and I like to keep it running.
You like to keep it running, but keeping it running requires a lot of maintenance.
Yes, unfortunately, yes. All of these analog consoles requires a maintenance, and you have to do it regularly.
How can you describe how regular it's being maintained?
Basically, once a week, basically. And if there is something bigger issues, then right away when it happens, we try to fix it.
Okay. One of the parts that is broken the most out of this.
I think the most common issue of this console is the Dynamics VCA.
Yeah, and then we're talking about chips.
Yes.
They're made by analog devices, and analog devices actually doesn't make these chips anymore.
That's true, unfortunately.
And there's also a shortage of chips in general on the market, still is.
Yes.
How are this for you guys to keep this up and running?
Well, you have to prepare things quite a lot. So for example, I'm searching the parts I know that I will be used all the time, and right when I find something, I try to buy it.
So you have a little stock of.
We have as much stock as we can keep.
Wow.
But that is, of course, there is limitations, because that is it's quite expensive to keep huge stock. But we try to keep as much as we ever can.
Yeah, but the 9000 console, everybody talks about the 4000 console. I like it, but I like this one more, like Dr. Dre and all these hip hop guys. So are they getting extinguished by end of life, or?
These consoles?
Yeah.
I don't think so. The ones who have these kind of consoles, I think they want to also keep it. But can be, of course, that there is a few individuals that is going to end of life, and it's going away, and they selling as a parts or something like that. Of course, because that maintenance is it's a work of passion. I have to say.
Yeah, but everything we do is a work of passion. You know, otherwise.
You have to be a little bit crazy to maintain that kind of a monster.
Yeah.
That is a reality.
Yeah.
It is like that.
It is like that. Besides of the sound of this console, what you like more?
The automation, like I said, I really like that, and then the general flexibility and the automation. That automation is very important to me, and I think it's important to everyone who is really using the consoles.
The console itself is very flexible, and the automation is done. You work strictly inside the box, and by inside the box I mean using all EQ dynamics of this console.
Yeah, but I would not call it inside the box. I work with the console.
Okay.
But anyway, you can call it how you want.
Explain for me, for you, what is the right way to use this?
The console?
Yeah.
What do you mean? That the right way to mix music is you put all the individual channels from the Pro Tools. I use the Pro Tools as a tape recorder only. So you drive everything to the individual channels and start to mix.
Yeah. Just by this. But on the accents, what you have over there?
Accents. I drive the reverbs.
Only reverbs? Delays?
The reverbs and delays and all the effects is from the accents.
But I also see a box over there.
Oh, but
with some oddities.
What?
Well, with some oddities.
Yeah, that is a module of the old vintage Kajaani Finnish broadcast console. There is two channels. There is a dynamics and EQ, which is sounding absolutely fucking great. Yeah, and I use also those. Normally I use that Kajaani chain. I use it on the insert, and I use it as a lead vocal. As a name.
On the lead vocal of the insert.
Yes.
No, the insert.
One channel, and it can be that there is that another channel is used on the bass.
Okay.
On the insert. And there is, of course, I use many times LA4 is also on the lead vocal insert, and another LA4 in the bass.
Slow compression.
Yeah, that is a very good. Both of those.
When you start up a mix, is it always done in the same order? Let's say kick on channels 1, 2, snare on channels 3, 4, and so on?
Basically, yes.
Is that an easy way to remember for you, or just a strategy to go for?
It's I think it's both. It's workflow has been built like it is, and actually, nowadays. It depends so much on the session, what I am doing, but I change those channels. Drums are always the same bass, lead vocal, that kind of stuff, but I can change, for example, the guitar channels and keyboard channels, that kind of little changes, solos, just to refresh my mind.
Inside the console, you said I'm using it quite a bit. You use compression a lot?
Yes, I use the compression. I love that SSL's dynamic section.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fucking great. And also the EQ. I have to say that I use the lots of EQs and compressor. And in the both states, I record with the compressors and EQs and also mix with those.
Really?
Yes.
So you record with EQ dynamics straight to Pro Tools, or?
Yes, depends on the what I'm recording. But for example, if I record the drums, I use the dynamics and EQs, gates.
On record? Yes,
I record as finished sound as possible.
One thing I don't see, besides for the Avatones, NS stands.
NS stands? No, we don't have NS stands.
Why not?
I have never liked those. That's why probably.
I got a love-hate relationship with those.
Many people have, but I don't need those. So I am not used to work with those, so I don't need those.
No.
I have been using I have my NS stands are those Genelec preamps old, and I have that Auratone monospeaker as for the checking things, and then I have those cheap, lousy computer speakers. And then, of course, our main listening system, what I really used for the listening, is that those big Tannoy SRM-15x monitors, which are old but really comfortable and nice.
I've listened to these and I was amazed by the amount of detail there still is, because these are like speakers of the 70s, 80s?
Beginning of the 80s, those individuals. But those have been here at the Soundmix since this studio has been built in 1982, so beginning of the 80s. But yes, those are very comfortable and detailed, and I don't have nothing bad to say about those monitors. Those are absolutely great.
I listened to my own productions on these and I was like, okay.
And those are very good because they are not causing the fatigue to the ear.
No.
Not even during the long mixing days. I really like those.
Yeah, but to prevent fatigue, you're listening on really low volumes.
I'm using really low volumes nowadays.
How many dB?
I can't say about the dBs, but very, very quiet.
50, 60?
I can't say nothing about it. I have never measured it.
No?
No. Yeah. I only measure it when I used to mix very loud. And that was too loud, but I'm not doing that anymore.
Talking about mixing with numbers, do you actually read meters, use LUFS system?
I read the SSL meters all the time. Yes, those are very important.
But that's about it.
That's about it.
Not metering on the master.
I have metering on the master.
Yeah, but there's not a certain value that you can say, if it comes to this, it should be good.
You mean that level meter?
Yeah.
No. It is not important. how loud it is. So even if it's enough loud on the console, it is not important to try to push out more than it's needed. So I really don't pay attention to that.
I speak to a lot of guys that abandon these kind of metering systems, not only working on a console but also working digitally. They said, if it sounds right, it is all right.
Well, the digitally, it's about a little bit different because I also print those mix. When I print those, I record it back to the Pro Tools for the 2-track.
Yeah.
From the left, right of this console, I record it back to the Pro Tools. There is, of course, you can't let the red light. There is also, you have to be scared about the red lights. Enough loud, not also too quiet, because then you are not using all the bits you have in your system.
Yeah.
And that is, yes,
So
important, the leveling there in the right way. But you don't have to push the master section of the console because we have a trim here. You can trim that output.
okay.
Normally, I have to trim it a little bit low. You don't have to, so you don't have to trim the master VCA. You trim it only what comes to the tape. That is very good.
Do you ever do top-down mixing? You know what it is?
What do you mean?
Top-down mixing is like all channels at 0 unity.
No,
Unity gain?
never. Because that is the wrong way for the mixing music, if you ask me. If you're talking about that you set everything to 0 and do the automation.
No automation. Top-down mixing is all faders at unity gain. You just play back what's from Pro Tools, no leveling over there, and then you start using the bus compressor and some EQ on the master bus.
No, I don't do that.
No?
No, I don't do that. There's stuff what I have to do normally, and what I do is so complex. There is lots of details and automation that it has to be done. There is all kind of delays and stuff and things.
Do you automate delays?
Yeah, there's a lot. I automate everything. Delays, reverbs, and everything.
Can you describe one of your tricks of automation?
There is many, but for example, in the lead vocal, that is a good trick that if you want to, for example, in the verses, you need to repeat some ends of some lines. Then you just put the delay on that last verse,
Yeah.
and you have to automate it. That is one trick, for example. Things like that. But I do that for everything. You might need some certain reverb for some drum hit. Then you have to automate that reverb goes on that. Only that one hit, that kind of stuff.
That is an awful lot of work.
Yes, those are very. If you have a 48 channels of information and you have to do the automation, it is a lot of work, but that is what we have to do.
Okay. Does in your humble opinion, do you think it takes more time to finish a mix analog than digital?
No, it's faster by analog.
Why?
Because everything is hand-on, and when you learn to use, for example, this console, it becomes like an extension to your hand. You are like in trance. You just work here a few hours and it's done. Then you ask the customers that what do you think, and if they like, then it is there. If they don't, then we fix it.
If you ever would change this console, for what would it be?
That's a tough question. I have really not thinking about that, but maybe duality for mixing. If I could have it, the 48 channel duality, maybe. Even I'm not so big fan of duality because it's not the real inline console this.
No.
So
it's based on a 9000 console, but it's not.
Yeah, the sound is based. That's why I said that duality.
Yeah.
It's based on this one, but it is a different story. And there is a lot of those dumb things that I really don't care about it. I don't need those. I need that decent VCA automation like this have, and that's it.
So you keep this up and running as long as you can.
If it's up to me, yes.
But
who can say what's happening tomorrow?
No one.
No one. So it's I hope that we can keep it running.
I hope there's going to be some kind of revive that people understand. If you record a guitar or a vocal, try to use a good preamp and not the preamps on your sound card. Preamps on your sound card are decent, but you can get a better sound with a decent preamp.
That's true, of course.
I hope people are
starting to understand that.
Yeah, but
it is the whole chain. If we are talking about the album production, song production, it's the whole chain. Everything has to be in the right place to get the best possible result. That is, it's a sad but true. You can't go. The production is as good as the lowest link on that.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Stefan of Red Light Recording in Frankfurt, he told me the same in this episode. Your chain is as strong as your weakest link is.
Exactly. That's how it is. That's why even the cabling has a lot of meaning. It does a lot of difference if you have bad cables.
Yeah?
Yeah, of course.
You all got... Your cables are like the same brand, the same length.
I would not go that far, but I'm talking about the studio cabling.
Yeah.
The mic lines and that. If you have a bad cables, old cables, that is of course affecting to your sound.
It is. One cable would not do that big of a harm, but 5-6 cables.
Yeah, but if you have a how can you say that there is quite a lot of cable coming from the recording, from the studio to this console, so all of those have to be good.
Yeah. Talking microphones, I saw some microphones inside the recording room.
Yes.
Any specific mic your favorite is?
If I have to name one, maybe I would say that Bruelet Giader 411 is one of my favorite microphones, as an overhead and many other things also. But also I like a lot of basic Neumann U87.
Yeah, that's a classic. That's a classic.
Yeah, classic, very good microphone for many purposes. AKG 414. Very good. 414,
but that's a really famous one.
Yeah, very good.
It's great on horns.
It's great on everything. But lots of those basic stuff.
Basic stuff.
Yeah.
Preamps?
Preamps. Well, I have not been listening to preamps separately, not so much, but I like a lot about this SSL super analog web preamp. That is.
Yeah.
It's. I think it's from now on. It's best for me. It's working, because how can I say that? It doesn't make not so much difference if you have one fucking golden preamp there, you know. If I would buy that, I have those 48, so I know that I have an equal quality on everything.
Yeah, why bother buying anything else?
Exactly. That's why I like the consoles.
Yeah, and that's why I said in the box, this is your box.
Yeah, it's a big box.
It's a big box, but I like it. Question for the conscience. You always need the newest gear?
No, absolutely no. My and our philosophy has always been that we really don't need the newest computer stuff, newest nothing. We need the best stuff. That is what is fitting the best possible way for my production style and our customers' preferences.
If you got to define the best stuff for yourself, what does it need to have to be, or does it need to have for you to be the best?
It has to be the best for me.
Yeah.
That's
what kind of qualities are you looking for?
I'm looking for, of course, the best qualities, but it depends on the stuff. For example, if you ask that what is my favorite reverb on vocals, I use the Lexicon 224, which is
classic.
It's a classic and very old, but still there is nothing what sounds exactly like that. I like it a lot.
No.
It is, and that has been the best available back then when it came, and I think it's still best available for what it does. and that is happens to fit for me very well.
But what do you think of people in general always strive to have the newest?
I think the way I think the things is that I try to learning and taking the best out of what I have and use them in the best possible way before getting anything new.
Yeah.
I buy the new things or we buy the new things when it's really needed and we think that it's making some extra to us.
And it still is pricey to get one.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
Like we said before, it's not to be compared with a plugin. We need to stop doing that.
No, it's a different story.
Yeah, we need to stop doing that.
Yeah, I many times say that, you have that plugin. Sorry about that, but you're watching the picture from the screen of that device.
Yeah,
I like to use that real device and especially listen to it.
Mixing by ears or mixing by screens?
Yeah, exactly. I try to use my ears.
Yeah, as much as you can.
Yes, that's.
Do you validate stuff by viewing meters or whatever?
I use of course, the console meters quite a lot. I read the information there all the time.
And then you adjust your strategy for mixing.
Yeah, but that is giving me information what is happening there in the channels, the meters. But I don't need those meters not so much that I could, for example, mix eyes closed.
Yeah.
The ears are the most important thing.
If you're used to this console, you can do blindfold and
yes,
turn it up.
Yes, pretty much.
Turn it up.
Yeah, you don't need eyes on that.
No.
But I have to admit that it's more pleasure to work with them. For me,
I can imagine.
It's a more pleasure to work with the real buttons, real console. I like to run on that console, and I like to adjust those outboard units. I like to connect the cables to the patch bay. I like to really do things, not like some, watching the screen and using the mouse or the touch button or
mouse
like that.
can be a helpful tool, but it still is a tool.
Yeah.
But only a tool, not the whole.
Yeah, but for me, it's not working for my workflow.
No,
that kind of.
I can imagine. But with a console like this, you don't need a mouse.
No, I am the old-fashioned guy.
So actually, you're an old-fashioned guy having the only SSL 9000 console in Finland.
That's true.
The SSL 9000 console is not the only console in this building. This one. You got it from the Finnish broadcast company, and it's quite a remarkable piece of gear. Tell me how you got it.
It's a specially designed museum piece. It's called Kajaani, and it's specially designed for those broadcast purposes.
Kajaani is the city it's made in, or?
Yeah, it's a city nearby Oulu, that Kajaani, what it means. But this console has been actually, based on what I know, it has been designed in Oulu. That Kajaani company that was located. The root company is the paper mill, but they had an electronical department which designed and manufactured these consoles for the YLE. End of the 70s and beginning of the 80s, of course. And these have been designed and made in Oulu, based on what I know.
Besides, it's designed like a tank because it's very sturdy.
Yes, it is.
What makes this thing really special?
It's designed for the special requirements, which is very high standards, which was giving the Finnish national broadcast company. And story tells that there was no console available that could build that requirements what they want, so they have to hire that Kajaani or use electronical department to design the console for them to find those, to fill those requirements or standards what they did. So this has been built for everything is the best possible.
How many of these consoles are built?
This model, I think it's about 20 consoles, that big one.
How many are there still alive?
This is the only one still alive, this big model, what I know. There is a smaller models of that console for the radio purposes, and those are few, I think, left. And of course, these modules have somewhere lying around. For example, here it is. You can see that everything has been cased individually, so that
It's really a cartridge style as back in the...
penny gliders, penny Giles fader,
Yeah.
and everything is the best parts what they can do.
We were talking about the shortage of chips and all these things, but Penny and Giles is not making faders anymore. Did you know that?
I know.
It's
I
a
know that
shame. That really is a shame.
it is a shame, but yes, it has been used at Penny and Giles faders in this console and Rangel transformers and you name it, etc.
How many transformers per channel?
I don't know the exact number, but there is a line input transformer and microphone input transformer, and then there is output transformers.
So at least 3, perhaps.
And there is everything is transformer balanced in this one.
So like 4 or 5 per channel.
Yes, and it's that back part piece of that console is full of those output transformers. It's really cool.
I love that. Yeah. So actually, the harmonics a console like this is generating, you won't find it anywhere else.
This is a really great sounding console.
Rich.
What I have been using. I think this is also quite clean. Okay.
Yeah.
The basic nature is quite clean.
Yeah, because of Rangel transformers are quite clean.
Yeah, it's a very clean sounding.
If there's one thing you like this console for, what would it be?
This console, I think it sounds very great for some recordings. For example, acoustic guitar, this preamp is, or vocals, it's absolutely great. I have been, actually we have been put that in the another studio for the best part of that console. We have the 2 channels with the dynamics and EQs.
Yeah.
We have there in the separate box.
Yeah.
So I still use the best parts of this console.
This console is now for a museum part, or?
It is in the museum mainly. Maybe we start to use it one day again, but now it has been in the museum.
That's a funny thing because I was in Portugal at Studio Rangel, and they had a Telefunken desk that had a glass plate on top of it, and it actually was a museum piece not used anymore.
Yeah, this is pretty much the same, but we don't have a room to have a... We used to have a... We are now in... This is our maintenance room. We do the maintenance and we have a spare parts storage here and that kind of stuff. But we used to have 2 control rooms.
The one thing that's special to me, but that's all about broadcast, I want to go home.
Telephone interviewing module.
Yeah. That was really... but you told me it sounds great on vocals. Yeah, but that's actually what it was designed for.
Yes, exactly. I actually had to record, what is it called? Voice book.
Yeah, audiobook.
We recorded book and then I did mixing for it. Or I started to find how does it sound, and I couldn't find that peak when it sounds really good. And then I remembered that, fuck, I have a Finnish broadcasting companies that's a compressor and EQ unit which is made for the speak, and I connect those and voila.
It still fires up. So when you use it for that purpose, were you like amazed how it sounds? Or?
I didn't use this console for that purpose. I used those modules which is there in another room. I inserted those in SSL channels.
But only the EQ and the dynamics?
Yes.
Not the preamps?
Not the preamps. SSL preamp was good enough.
Yeah. I can imagine. And then we reached the point where things go wrong. Horribly wrong. For some reason, I got winded up with corrupted footage. And I can't restore it, I can't recover it. So I'm so sorry. That is what it is. But lucky for me, the audio is still intact, so as soon as I am gonna publish my podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all these platforms, I will include the full conversation. But only audio for a video podcast, no, it ain't gonna work. We know that. So I apologize, but it is what it is. So I have to sign off on my own. I hope you still like the video. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. Until we meet again. Bye bye.